So there's this story of a young kid who has his uncle. His uncle came visiting their home one point in time. He asked his uncle to get him a biscuit, right? And his uncle said, "Okay, when I come next time, I'll get it for you." So the next time the uncle comes, and the uncle said, "Okay, the thing is, I'll get you that biscuit now, but you have two options. It's either you get the biscuit now, right, or you wait for another 7 days, 1 week, and I get you a basketball." Right. So this guy like basketball. Probably he wants to be like an NBA professional NBA player. So yeah. So yeah. He thought about it. Thought about it. Thought about it. Right. And he said if he can't resist the now urge. Right. I want it now. And told his uncle, "No, we'll go for the biscuit. One week is too far." So yeah, he uncle got him the biscuit. Then after that, if after a week, right, after 7 days, he saw like um his mates, his age mate, passing like through his house, passing just in front of his house with the basketball. And guess what? You can imagine he was filled with so much regret. He was like, now, like now, I should be like that kid down there. Like I should be with my own basketball, if only I had with it. Now that is just a representation of what happens in our lives, in our day to day lives. Of course, this one is something very simple, right? This one is something probably simple. So, but what about you look at it in like you look at it in a bigger scale, right? Look at it in like in a bigger way. This one just a representation, is a small representation of ourselves. Now let's look at it in a big way. Now I have another story, right? Looking at it in a bigger way now of Gehazi. Gehazi is a servant of Elisha. Elisha was the servant of Elijah. Elisha was a faithful servant of Elijah. Then one day God wanted to take Elijah with chariot of fire up to heaven, and Elijah told Elisha, "Wait here, I go to Gilgal." Say, "No, I will go with you. I go to Bethel. I'll go with you." He said, "I'll go to Jericho. I'll go with you. I go to the Jordan. I'll go with you." Right? So he faithfully followed Elijah until he got the double portion of the anointing of Elijah. Now he has his own servant, which is Gehazi. Now Gehazi have seen what God has been doing through Elijah. In fact, in fact, now the chapter before the chapter I want to talk about now, like the chapter before it was, I think it was chapter 4. Now, where I want to dwell in now is chapter 5. Not really sure though, but it's around there. Elisha, right? Elisha had done a lot of miracles. One of the miracles he did was a man came with first fruit of 20 loaves of barley, 20 loaves of barley bread, right? And yeah, with some greens. And he gave it to Elisha, and Elisha gave it to Gehazi to feed like 100 men. Gehazi was like, "Oh no, that's not possible. We can't use this to feed 100 men. It's too small." And Elisha said, "Give it to them." He said the second time, "Give it to them. For according to the word of the Lord, there will be leftover." He gave it to them. He saw that wonderful miracle. Another miracle was the sons of the prophet went out to gather some leaves so that they want to cook, and some guy saw a white leaf, right? He went there. I think a white goat. That's what it was called. He went there. He didn't know what it was. Picked it up and put it in the soup. And when they shared it among the sons of the prophet, and they were eating it, right, and as they were taking it, and they began to like, they were feeling it, and they were like, um prophets, there is death in the soup. There is death in the soup. Probably it was poison or something. And the man and Elisha took flour, poured it in the soup, and said, "Give it to them." He gave it to them. Everything was settled. Everything was okay. Everything was fine and good. That is, these are the miracles that happened there. See, these are the miracles. So he saw a lot of miracles. Even the most significant of the miracle that happened in that same chapter was when Elisha brought back to life the child of the Shunammite woman. Now the story goes like this: Elisha usually passed through that way of in Shunem. Then there's this wealthy woman. She saw him and said, "Ah, this is a prophet of God. Let's call him." And each time she passes, she calls him. She eats in his house. Each time she passes, she calls him. She, eats in his house, right? And one day she was like, "This is a prophet of God. He will need like a space so that when he comes, he will sleep, right? Then continue his journey." So she made a kind of a room from the wall, I think at the roof of the house, and she put bed and table and chair. Wow, she really know what a prophet needs: a table to study, right, and the bed. So I probably think that's what she did, right? And she came. Anytime Elisha passed there, he'll come. He'll spend the night, and he'll refresh himself. He'll eat. He will stay there and be refreshed. Then one day he said to her, "What do you want? Do you want me to talk to the king for you? Do you want me to talk to the commander of the army for you?" She was like, "I'm a person among my own people." That was her reply. And Elisha asked Gehazi, "What does this woman? What is lacking in her house?" Gehazi said, "There's no child. I can't find any child here." Then asked Gehazi. Elisha asked Gehazi to call her. Gehazi calls her in, and she was at the doorpost, and he said, "By this time tomorrow, you have your child." Then she was like, "Don't deceive me. Don't deceive me, please." Then that same time, the next day, she got her child. Then one day, the child has grew up a little and went to meet his father in the field. As he was his father in the field, he began to complain, "My head, my head, my head." Right? He said, so yeah, he was like, "My head, my head." And his dad called the servant and said, take him to his mother. She took him to his mother. He was in the sat on the laps of his mother, and he died there. She took him to the prophet's house, the room she made for the prophet Elisha, placed him there, asked the husband, "I need a servant and a donkey. I want to meet the prophet." But like, "It's not the new moon. Why do you want to see him? There's no special occasion." Say, "Don't worry, I want to meet the prophet." She went with the donkey, went with the servants, right? And Elisha saw her from afar and asked Gehazi to go meet her. And Gehazi go meet her and say, "Is all well? How is your son? How is your husband? How is everything?" She said, "All is well." She kept on saying, "All is well, all is well." She came to Elisha and she held Elijah's feet. Gehazi wanted to, take her away. Elisha was like, "No, she's in the distress, and the Lord didn't show this to me." Then she told Elisha what happened. I just want to cut the long story short. Elisha, to cut the long story short, Elisha went to the house. First of all, he sent Gehazi with his staff and said, "Don't greet anybody. If anybody greets you, don't reply. Go there, place the staff on the child." Gehazi went, placed the child on the staff. The woman was like, I want you to go. I want you to come with me." So Gehazi was on the way. Elisha followed. He placed the staff on the child. Nothing happened. He came and reported to Elisha. I believe he came and met him on the way. Reported to Elisha. Elisha went there, prayed unto the Lord, prayed unto God, and went and lay himself on the child, face to face with the child, mouth to mouth, right, hand to hand, and the child became warm. He stood up, moved some, paced a little bit, came back again, did the same thing, and the child, I think, sneezed 7 times. He called the man and said, "Pick up your child." Now, these are the miracles that happen in this chapter. Now, let's follow me to the next chapter. The next chapter. Now, the Bible made us to understand that there was a commander in Israel, right? His name is Naaman. He was a valiant man of valor. God have used him tremendously to win victories for the Syrians in Syria, right? He but the problem is that he had leprosy, and in his house there is this maid that is a maid servant that is from Israel, and she said to her servant, her master's wife, said, "If only he can go to Israel, he will get his healing. There's a prophet in Israel that can do that." The woman went and told her husband told the king, and the king gave him a letter, gave him a letter to the king of Israel. He came to Israel, gave the letter to the king, and the king read it and was like, "Oh, this man is looking for our trouble. What is this? What is this that is asking us to do? That I'm to heal him? Do I have miraculous power that I can heal him? How he's looking for our trouble again? This man has come to search for a way to find to trouble us. Elisha told the king, "Don't you no, don't worry. He will know that there's a prophet in Israel." Elisha heard about it, probably wrote to the king and said, "Don't worry. He will know there's a prophet in Israel. Bring him." So they brought him, and Elisha said, "Go and tell him that he should dip himself 7 times in the Jordan water, in the river Jordan, right, in Israel." And Naaman was furious. Are there not so many wonderful rivers in Syria, better than the river Jordan? Why would I do that? He left. Then his servant came and said to him, "If this man has said you should do something more difficult and more taxing, you would have done it. Why don't you just do this? This one is simple." Oh, okay. He went, did his 7th time. On the 7th time, he came out. His body was like that of a child. He was like, oh, he was so overwhelmed. He was so overwhelmed. He was so overwhelmed, right? He was so overwhelmed, and he said, "There's no other God than like there's no God but the God of Israel." And he said to him, I want to give you this, I want to give you that, I want to give you that." Elisha said, "No, I don't want anything from you." The man insists, he said, "No, I don't want anything from you." Say, "Okay, but grant me this. I'll pack like mole 2 mole full of sand from Israel, so that I'll take it to my place, so that I'll worship the God of Israel. I will not worship any other God. I'll worship the God of Israel. But do me this thing. When my master, the king, goes to worship his idol, I usually go with him. Let Allow God to forgive me, that when he leans on me and bows, I will just be there with him. Let God not, take this into account for me. But aside that, I will worship God of Israel. I will worship the God of Israel. This sand, I will stand on it, something like that, and I will worship the God of Israel only." Then he moved. Gehazi was so touched. His body was like, "What? My master didn't accept this gift. That's crazy. Why won't he not do that? Why would he do that?" Right? He had an idea, wonderful idea. He was blind. Let me put this into perspective, right? Okay, let me say what he did first. He ran to Naaman and said, so yeah, he said, two servants came to visit my master just now, and we don't have what to give them. Please, can you give us like a talent of silver and a two change of clothes, or maybe a change of clothes? So he said, "Okay, let me give you 2 talents of silver and 2 change of clothes." He said, "No, no, 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 just one only." He said, "No, no, let me give you two." So he gave it to the servants, and they went ahead of him. So before they would get to the place, he took it from them, went to the back of the house, I guess, put it there, and he placed it there. So, and he went to wait on his master. His master said, "Where have you been?" He said, "Oh, I went to this place, I went to that place, I went to this place." Master said, "Was not my spirit with you when the man stepped down from his chariot and gave you this and gave you that?" He said, "Because of this you've done." Yeah. He said, "Is this the time to collect gifts? Is this the time to collect things? Is it the time to collect materials?" He said, the leprosy of Naaman will fall on you and your generation." Eesh. Not sure if is the way you should react. Eesh. Yeah, but it is what it is. Now, I'm not sure if it's the way he should react. I don't know, but that is what you may say is not fair. Like he shouldn't react that way. He's a servant for long. But yeah, let us agree with you. But the thing is that that's how life is. Whatever you sow is what you reap. You can't eat your cake and have it. Is how life is not. I don't want to say life is not fair. Like in this case, I don't want to say life is not fair. It's how it is, right? It's how it is. It's how it is. You can learn from your mistakes and do like a comeback, but time must have gone. You would have to maybe 7 years must have wasted, 3 years, 4 years, and you have to do your comeback. But yeah, you paid for your mistake, the mistake of the now. So yeah, you know the mistakes of the now. I can't be listening them to you. Your conscience know that I shouldn't be doing this. You know, as I'm talking to you, you know what I'm talking about. And the thing is that sometimes our children pay for our most times our children pays for it. Our yet children unborn. So I was talking to myself today and I was like, what is this that I'm doing that my children is going to pay for later in life? Like, for example, you see a pregnant woman like drinks a lot of alcohol and a lot of hard drugs, and she give birth to a child maybe prematurely, and the child suffer because of that that mistake. Would you say it's a mistake, that habit? So what are you doing now that your children will? So sometimes you have to sit back and think about it and say, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, what it is that I'm doing that my children is going to pay for? Because yeah, they'll pay for it. Maybe you should be working hard now, you are not, and you are not like financially stable or financially buoyant as should be, and of course your children comes out and begin to suffer because you can't really take them to good school, provide for them good clothes and good food. Yeah, could be one of it, because of the pleasures of the now. Any money you come, you consume it, you spend it all. Maybe you're supposed to make investments, plan for your future, plan for your career, and put in the money there and grow something, grow a business, grow a career, and do something. And in the future, your children will reap the fruit of that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can list them out for yourself. But God gives us the strength. Jesus gives us the strength to overcome the pleasures of now, the sins of now. God gives us that strength. God helps us to overcome all of those things. So basically, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that's all. I don't think I have anything to say. So yeah, thank you very much. We've come to the end of this, and see you next time. So I hope I've been able to help you. I think I've said everything it is that I have to say. So this may not be a good ending, but take care. Bye bye.